Welcome everybody to the NASCAR 1-Up Retro Cup round number 18 here at the Illinois State Fairgrounds. I should say that, but it's actually qualifying day for the race at Springfield. I'm Griffin McDermott, and I'm here to bring you all the action here today. Now, we had single car qualifying earlier. That set the lineup for the heat races we're going to run today. And before we get into the racing, I wanted to lay down the ground rules for how this racing works. First, the normal rule that the top 30 in points are locked into each race has been eliminated for this weekend. Everyone is in danger. No one is safe for these upcoming races. There will be 6 heat races. 8 drivers will be in each one. There are 48 drivers going for 42 spots, so something's got to give. The top 5 in each heat will advance to the main event and will start accordingly based on where they finish in each heat. 6th through 8th in each heat will advance to the Last Chance Qualifier, where the top 5 will again advance to the main event, and they will start in positions 31 through 35. The rest of the field will be determined by owners' points, so points do still matter here, and anyone else will be eliminated from the event and will have to watch from the sidelines. And with that being said, I hope I've explained the rules of this event well, and I think it's time we get into the first heat, and that will set the pole for the race here at Springfield, and I'm looking forward to that as much as you are, so let's get straight into the action. Welcome everybody to heat number 1. We've got Dale Johnson and Oxendine in the 9 on the front row. We've got Ricky Freeman Jr. and Justin Hutchinson in row 2. The 75 and the 13 of Bobo Jones in row 3. And John Martin and King in the 18 rounding out the field for heat number 1. I hope you're as ready as I am, because we're ready to go racing with 8 very fast cars here. And we'll see who gets the pole in heat number 1. And as the field rolls off to number 4, we're going green here at Springfield. And Ricky Freeman Jr. is making it 3 wide already, going down into the corner, trying to take advantage of the start on Dale Johnson, but Johnson's going to get a runoff too. He will take the lead going down the back straightaway with Freeman, and the 75's pushing him, going down into the corner. Johnson's going to cement himself into the lead here, unless Ricky Freeman Jr. can gain on him going into 3. It doesn't look like he'll be able to, though. Johnson's going to hold steady, and he will lead the first lap. Of course, there are no yellow flags in these heat races, so if an accident happens, that's bum luck for you. As the 75 already moves up into 3rd place ahead of Oxendine, moving back to the transfer spot. There it is. It's a battle between John Martin and King in the 18 is the battle for the transfer spot right now. As you see Ricky Freeman Jr. making a move on the inside of Dale Johnson to try and take the lead here. This is all important, as each battle for position will determine which spot you will start in the main event. This is the difference between starting 1st and starting 9th. So Ricky Freeman Jr. is really going to put his foot down here to try and get past Dale Johnson with only a handful of laps in this race. It'll be a key factor to determine where you start in today's race. And as the field starts to string out a little bit, aside from the battle for the lead between Ricky Freeman Jr. and Dale Johnson, these guys are going at it really hard here for position. And it looks like Ricky Freeman Jr. will clear Dale Johnson, and he will take the lead with the 75 in hot pursuit. And as I say that, the 75 tries to make a move for the lead. It's not going to quite stick as Freeman continues to hold the spot. Looking back now at the transfer position, it looks like King will hold on to that position for now. But here comes Bobo Jones in the 13, the Daytona 500 winner. He's going to try and make a move on King to try and take the spot away, as all these cars are fighting to lock themselves into the main event here. And the 75 looks like he's going to take the lead for a moment, but Freeman holds him off for now. And going down into the corner at lap number 5, King in the 18 continues to manage to hold on to the transfer spot. He's actually going to try and fight Dale Johnson for it, going down the back straightaway. And Bobo Jones is hot on their heels, trying to make it into the main event. And this is side by side for 4th place. Dale Johnson will lose out on that position to King in the 18. And looks like Johnson will settle back in the 5th. As long as he can finish there, he will advance to the main event no matter what happens in this event. Ooh, we got some 3-wide action here between Jones, Hutchinson, and Martin. These 3 have had some plenty of battle throughout this season. And Jones is going to be shuffled all the way back to last. So hopefully he can get a move on, because there aren't many laps left in this heat. And Jones needs to get a move on, like I said, if he's going to try and advance to the main event through his heat. Otherwise, he'll have to settle to try and go in through the last chance qualifier as he hounds Martin for position. Hutchinson's going to try and dive into the corner here. Going to try and get by Johnson, but Johnson's starting to pull away a little bit here, as there's an issue apparently with the 75. He's losing positions in a hurry. Hopefully he can get that position sorted out, as he's going to fall from second to fourth here in the goings, or in the early goings of this heat, as they come off of turn 4, and it looks like King will move up to third. 75 will settle into fourth, and Johnson is going to try and make a... Ooh, there was contact there. If there wasn't contact there, it was awful close, as Johnson moves back up into fourth, and the 75 drops all the way back to fifth place. We're not paying much attention to the lead right now, because Ricky Freeman Jr.'s got almost the second lead. He's smooth sailing away to heat victory in heat number 1, and he will likely start on the pole for this race at Springfield. However, there's still the decision. We still have yet to find out who will advance and who will have to go to the last chance qualifier, as there's only 2 laps to go in this heat, and it looks like the 75 is gonna hang on to take the final transfer spot unless Martin and Jones and Hutchinson can get a move on, and Hutchinson's doing his best to try and get a move on this 75 car, as they're going to take the white flag in this heat. We're going to start the final lap, and Justin Hutchinson, we're going to focus on him now, as he's going to do his best to try and get by the 75 going down into 1. It's not going to work this time. Hopefully he can make things stick, as Martin and Jones go side by side for 7th. Hutchinson's got to get a move on. This is the final lap of the race, and going back to the lead now, side by side for 3rd, but Ricky Freeman Jr. has got this heat all locked up. And coming off of turn 4, Ricky Freeman Jr. will win heat number 1 and will start on pole for the main event. King will cross 2nd, Johnson 3rd, Oxendine 4th, and the 75 will round out the advanced drivers, so they will all be locked into the main event, while Bobo Jones, Justin Hutchinson, and John Martin will have to go to the last chance qualifier. Thanks for watching heat number 1. I'll see you back here as soon as heat number 2 is ready to get rolling. Welcome everybody to heat number 2. We've got a stacked field in this one as well. Jacob Johnson starts first with Ben McDonald in second. We've got Braden Saul in third, Zachary Fitzwater fourth, Caden Atkins in fifth, Ryan Caggiano 6th, Josh Drake 7th, and Sam Donato 8th. We are ready to go racing here at Springfield once again. Jacob Johnson and Ben McDonald will be the ones leading us to the green flag, and here it comes. It is in the air. We are heat racing once again in Springfield, and Jacob Johnson gets a bit of a jump on McDonald, but Caden Atkins is going to try and do what Ricky Freeman Jr. did earlier and try and make a 3-wide battle appear. And it looks like he's going to settle it out in favor of keeping things double wide, but Jacob Johnson is getting a bit of a jump on the field, and wonder if he's going to pull away or if one of these guys behind him will play a factor in who's going to start second in the main event, as they look to be trying to go 3 wide. Not sure how that's going to work out, but Johnson will lead lap 1. Looking back here through the rest of the field, we've got Braden Saul, who has passed Ben McDonald for second. Caden Atkins is going to try and follow suit. And looking back at the transfer spot, this is the battle between Josh Drake and Zachary Fitzwater. This is the battle for 5th place, the all-important 5th place, to try and transfer in to the main event. Josh Drake has not had a great season, and he would like to have a few minutes in the spotlight here, so we'll give him to him as he powers by 2 cars now. Move Josh Drake up to 4th. So now Ben McDonald is the one on the hot seat, as Zachary Fitzwater is going to try and make a move on him to try and take that final transfer spot away, as Caggiano and Donato look on to this side-by-side battle between McDonald and Fitzwater. This is going to be the battle for the transfer spot. As we look up through the field, we can see Braden Saul's caught Jacob Johnson, and it's going to be up to them to determine who is going to take the lead and who will settle for second, because this is the difference between starting second and starting 8th. So it's a big decision to try and settle this, and it looks like Braden Saul wants the lead of this thing. He's going to try and go down the inside of Jacob Johnson. He's going to send it off in there, and with enough speed, it appears he will be able to make that move work. They are still side by side for now, but it appears that Braden Saul will take the lead. He nosed out Johnson at the line, but it looks like Johnson's got the better drive off on the high side, so Johnson may take the lead back here. They're still side by side going down the back straightaway. We're about halfway through heat number 2. And Josh Drake has moved himself nicely into 3rd, so good job by the 86 to move himself into position to score a transfer spot. And they're still side by side for the lead, with Braden Saul finally taking it for good from Jacob Johnson. Oh, and there's contact between Fitzwater and Drake. Fitzwater's going to try and make a move for 3rd, and he's going to pull it off. Ben McDonald in hot pursuit. Caden Atkins has dropped a little bit. He was in a transfer spot, but now he's battling Ryan Caggiano for 7th. As the battle continues to be between, ooh, that was close, between Sam Denoto and Ben McDonald. This is going to be a heated battle for this final transfer spot as we come down to 4 laps to go in heat number 2. Will there be more contact as we've seen in the past, as we've seen before? Denoto looks like he'll be able to make a clean pass here on McDonald. We'll see if he manages to make it stick as the field roars down the back straightaway for the 7th time. And Ben McDonald's slipping because Denoto's gotten past. Now Caden Atkins is going to try and make a move past. This is not good for the driver to number 12. He doesn't have many points to fall back on. So if he's going to make this race, he needs to get into one of those transfer spots in a hurry. But he needs to get on the bottom to make it work. And right now he's trapped on the high side as Caggiano is going to make his way past. Looking now at the battle between Atkins and Denoto. This is the battle for the transfer spot. And it appears that Atkins has the preferred line with Josh Drake lurking up ahead. This battle between Atkins and Denoto is going to be settled in favor of Caden Atkins. He takes the 5th spot away. As Denoto is now the first car on the outside looking in, as McDonald's dropped all the way back to plumb last on the grid. He needs to get a move on if he's going to try and catch up to the rest of this field. As we look ahead, you see Jacob Johnson going to try and take the lead back from Braden Saul. He's going to need a good run here to try and take the lead back as we come down to the white flag. This is the final lap of Heat 2, and here he comes. Jacob Johnson's going to make a move for it down into Turn 1, and it looks like he's going to make it stick on Braden Saul. This is a 6-position difference here that Jacob Johnson is going to make, and going down the back straightaway, it looks like this is his race to keep, and going through 3 and 4 for the final time in heat number 2, Jacob Johnson is free and clear off the final corner, and Jacob Johnson wins heat number 2 and will start second. Braden Saul will be second in the heat. Zachary Fitzwater third. Josh Drake fourth. And Caden Atkins takes the final transfer spot. So those 5 cars will advance to the main event, while Ryan Caggiano, Ben McDonald, and Sam Denoto will have to go to the last chance qualifier. Enjoy this racing because we still got 4 more heats of action left to go. We'll see you for heat number 3. Welcome to heat number 3. We've got another good field for you here today. Brandon Beal is on pole. Jack Porkins in the 16 is second. Jake McMillan in third. Seth Taylor fourth. Stephen Gale, last week's winner, is fifth. Ryan Soper sixth. And rounding out the field is Miles Mashburn and Duke Anzac. And coming to the green flag, Brandon Beal and Jack Porkins had the field in control. Coming down to the start-finish line, and we are racing in heat number 3. Brandon Beal jumps out to a great start, but remember that the leaders in the first 2 heats got caught pretty quickly on the opening jump. So let's see if McMillan or Porkins can gain on them, as we're already 3 wide between Mashburn, Gale, and Taylor. We'll have to figure out who's going to get on the better end of this deal, because Taylor looks like he's going to drop back quite a bit here, and Taylor had just cracked the top 30 in points, even though that doesn't matter for this race. But he's now dropped back a bit, as now the battle is for 4th place between Gale and Mashburn. This is for 4th. And looking further back, you can see Anzac battling Taylor for position here, as Ryan Soper lags behind the field a little bit, but he should be able to catch back up once he gets to the bottom. As a lot of cars starting to run the high side now, and it appears that we're going to have another 3-wide battle here between Anzac, Taylor, and Gale. And Anzac hugs that inner guardrail on the bottom. That's how you make time here. It's at the Illinois State Fairgrounds Speedway, as now the battle appears to be between Anzac and Taylor for the transfer spot. But moving back up for the field, you can see Jake McMillan has caught Brandon Beal. Like I said before, these early leaders tend to get caught, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if it's like Heat 1, where the pole sitter ultimately does not take the win, or if it's like Heat 2, where the pole sitter eventually caught back up and repassed. But right now, it looks like Jake McMillan is going to have the lead in hand here once they get through 3 and 4, unless Brandon Beal just sends it in deep, which he does. But McMillan has the preferred line here, so we will see what happens. Coming off of turn 4, Jack Porkins has joined the battle as well. An interesting combination, but it looks like McMillan's backed off a little bit, letting Brandon Beal scoot out to the lead, as Porkins is going to close back in on his fellow Ford of Jake McMillan. They're going to get into a battle here for position. For second position, let's look back at the transfer spot battle now. Here it is between Seth Taylor and Stephen Gale. This is for 5th, and it looks like Stephen Gale will prevail in this battle. The inside line is where you want to be at Springfield in order to gain position on the cars around you. And right now, it appears that Seth Taylor has been caught out on the high side, and he would find it very opportune to get to the bottom very quickly. But here comes Anzac and Soper. They want position as well on Taylor, because they want to also better their chances in the last chance qualifier if they cannot get through to the main event, as Gale starts to pull away from Seth Taylor. So it appears we're coming to 3 laps to go in heat number 3, that it looks like these top 5, as they're running right now, are fairly content to ride it out and let Brandon Beal take the heat win. But Mashburn is going to try and get underneath of Jake McMillan. This is for position on the racetrack, and Stephen Gale is not that far behind either. And Ryan Soper is actually making a comeback. He's up to 6th now, only 1 spot away from a transfer position if he can get there. But he washes up high, and that's going to let Anzac get right up to him. And that's going to allow Anzac to get space as Mashburn and McMillan continue to duke it out, this time for 3rd. But Stephen Gale's making a run on the high side. He's one of the few cars that can actually make that high line work. You just got to be careful not to ride that cushion up high, that loose dirt up there, because you can get into plenty of trouble there. As we come now to 2 laps to go in the 3rd heat out of 6. We're about halfway through. And Brandon Beal and Jack Porkins, they're fairly well set. But from 3rd on back, it is a bloodbath to try and get one of these last few spots. Stephen Gale looks to have the 3rd one in hand. But looking back here, Jake McMillan's fallen into the clutches of the transfer spot battle. As we're coming to take the white flag, this will be the final lap of heat number 3, and Jake McMillan is actually in a precarious position right now. He needs to hold on here unless Seth Taylor can pass him. McMillan will be forced to go to the last chance qualifier after running very well in this race early on. We'll see how it plays out going into the turn 3 for the final time. Seth Taylor dives it in, and he's going to get a run. Coming off of turn 4 for the final time, Brandon Beal's going to win the heat, but this is the side-by-side battle for the transfer spot, and it goes to at the line. It's a photo finish, but it appears that Jake McMillan has held on to lock up a spot in the field, so Jake McMillan will be racing in the main event, while Seth Taylor, Duke Anzac, and Ryan Soper will go to the last chance qualifier. that was the closest transfer spot battle we've seen yet, but we've got plenty more action to come as we get ready for Heat number 4. And Heat 4 is ready to get underway. We've got Alexa Lutchen and Nick Ortiz on the front row for this one. And starting further back, we've got Jack Halleck in the 4, Ace in the 24, Paul McKinney in the 34, and Christian in the 8, Chris Maley in the 44, and Cal Farrell, last week's heartbreak story, in the 96, rounds out the field. With Alexa Lutchen ready to take us to the green flag, her Ford is ready, Nick Ortiz's Toyota is ready, and we are set to go green here in Heat number 4. We are underway. And Alexa Lutchen powers away to a very handy lead, but Jack Halleck is going to follow her, and Halleck is looking to start up front in a big way. He wants to start 4th in this race, as Chris Maley's going to make a big charge on the inside, going down into the free. Ooh, is that a bumper to the back of the 50? Paul McKinney's going to make a run under Halleck as a response. McKinney's got a powerful dodge under him as he's going to try and charge his way from 5th to 2nd in the opening lap. What a drive by the 34. And he's not done yet. He's going to try and take the lead of this thing, is Paul McKinney. And we haven't talked much about McKinney all season. He's had a bit of a quiet year, but this is his time to shine, trying to make his way into the main event. And he's going to try and get around Alexa Lutchen. I'm not sure how well that's going to work out, but he'll give it his best. And looking back through to the transfer spot, this is the battle for that, as Nick Ortiz has dropped from 2nd all the way back to 7th. What a tough break for Nick Ortiz, but he's got plenty of time to make it up. As long as he gets to the bottom, he should be able to find his way to the front. But he's got Christian underneath him now. That could be a big problem, as this is the battle for the transfer spot between Ace and Halleck. Maley and Farrell have settled themselves out ahead of this battle, and McKinney is going to try and take the lead away from Alexa Lutchen coming off a 4. It appears that he will not be able to pull it off this time because Lutchen's just got a faster car right now, but he better not take too much time in this battle, because Chris Maley and Cal Farrell have more dodges to gang up. Actually, that could be a factor. If these 3 dodges can gang up on Alexa Lutchen's Ford, then they can try and power by her, but Maley and Farrell need to catch up first, and it doesn't look like they're able to do that right now. As we come closer to the halfway point, here comes McKinney. He's going to try and make a pass for the lead right here. And going down into the corner, he's got the preferred line, and he's got the momentum, and he should be able to clear Alexa Lutchen in the next set of corners. As Cal Farrell powers by Chris Maley for 3rd, McKinney takes the lead of this thing in the Camping World Dodge, and he's going to power by. Farrell's going to have his turn next with Alexa Lutchen. As McKinney starts to pull away, we'll take you back to the transfer spot battle, as it appears that Jack Halleck has cemented his 5th place position. These are the cars that are struggling a little bit. Christian in the 8, Ortiz in the 91 are struggling a little bit, as Ace is at least able to keep up with the 4 of Halleck, and hopefully we'll see another exciting battle coming to the line like we saw in Heat 3. We'll see a similar battle in Heat 4, I hope. But we're still quite a ways to the end. We still got 4 laps. And coming through now, we see Cal Farrell. He's going to try and take the lead from McKinney. Hopefully this heat win, if he can get it, will redeem his day from what was a heartbreak at Kansas last time out. He was leading coming to the white flag, but he ran out of fuel and was saddled with a 33rd place finish. Hopefully he can do better than that here at Springfield, and he's got help from his friends at Chris Maley and Alexa Lutchen, but McKinney continues to hold the lead. I would say they're friends, but right now the Dodges have ganged up on Alexa Lutchen. They've dropped her back to 4th, and Jack Halleck actually now is facing a challenge from Ace in the 24, and Alexa Lutchen is not safe either, because Ace is going to try and take 2 spots at once going into this corner, and it looks like Chris Maley is going to get the lead from Paul McKinney coming to 2 laps to go in heat number 4, but we still got 6 cars rather, in the thick of things. We're not sure what's happened to Christian and Ortiz, but they have dropped way off pace, and it looks like they are going to have to go to the last chance qualifier if they're going to have any hope of making this race. But right now, it appears that Lutchen's actually dropped out of the transfer spot as Melee takes the lead, coming to the white flag. Alexa Lutchen, from pole position, has dropped out of the transfer position. So Lutchen is going to have to get a move on here if she's going to try and transfer into the main event here as the white flag flies. This is the final lap of heat number 4. And with that, we have a battle for position here. Cal Farrell is trying to defend with all his might against Alexa Lutchen. One of these two is going to advance to the main event, and the other will have to go to the last chance qualifier. As we see Ace on the final lap try and make a move on Chris Melee. I don't think it's going to work. And coming off of turn 4, it appears that Chris Melee is going to win Heat 4 with Ace second, McKinney third. And across the line, Cal Farrell snatches 4th place from Jack Halleck. So, with that being said, Alexa Lutchen, Christian in the 8, and Nick Ortiz in the 91, they will go to the last chance qualifier. A bit of a surprise for Lutchen here, because she started on pole, but it's just proof that no one is safe here in these heat races. So, we will be back with heat number 5 as soon as their cars are ready to roll. And heat number 5 is ready to roll. We have Kyle Corbett on pole with Joshua Michaels second, Kevin Carter third, Stephen Hunter fourth, Andres Molina, Peter Onjak, Henry Thomas, and Lane Sanders rounding out the field. And as Corbett and Michaels get ready to take us to the green flag, we are racing in heat number 5, the second to last heat of the session, and this is what will determine who starts 5th in the main event. And Kyle Corbett gets off to a good start, but Kevin Carter is going to try and take it to Joshua Michaels here as they battle side by side for position. And it looks like Michaels will have the advantage going into the corner, but Kevin Carter's got the preferred line, and it looks like he will be able to get by the 0-4 with enough patience, as Henry Thomas is going to try and battle from last place on the grid. He's going to try and take an early advantage here. He's already up to 4th in the number 1 Chevrolet Toyota. My apologies for the mistake, but this is the battle for the transfer spot between the 51 of Hunter, the 23 of Molina, and the 81 and 70. They're all in position to take this transfer spot. So these 4 cars right here are probably going to settle this between them. As for who is going to make the race and who will not, Molina's had an up-and-down season. He's had some good runs on the road courses, but several did not qualify, have impacted his championship hopes, and he's probably not going to get it this year. But he is hoping to make the race at Springfield. He's got a fast car under him, as he currently holds the final transfer spot, as going for the lead is Joshua Michaels on Kyle Corbett. This is for the lead. And Henry Thomas is likewise battling Kevin Carter for 3rd position. But this is the battle we're looking at right now between Michaels and Corbett. And it appears that Corbett will hold on for the time being. But Joshua Michaels has a good car. They are battling side by side, green versus orange. And Michaels will appear to take the lead, as there's a bit of an issue with Corbett. He might have got up against the wall a little bit, as Henry Thomas is now in position to take it to Kyle Corbett, and Kevin Carter's right there as well. So these cars should be safe as far as making the main event, but behind them, man, this is going to be quite a battle between Molina, Hunter, and it looks like it's going to be those two battling it out, because Sanders and Onjak are not having an easy time making it to the front of the field. So Michaels is going to pull away a little bit with Thomas and Corbett battling side by side for 2nd. But Molina's actually going to try and make a move for 4th here under Kevin Carter. He's got a very fast tide ride under him. And it appears, anyway, that Molina will take 4th place from Kevin Carter. So Kevin Carter is not safe here. I mentioned earlier that he was in a good position, but no one's in a good position here at the fairgrounds, as now Molina gets by, and now Stephen Hunter is going to try and get by to 71 as well. It's going to be interesting to see how this battle shakes out, and it looks like Lane Sanders is actually caught up, so good efforts from Lane Sanders to try and take it to Stephen Hunter, and it appears the points leader will be able to hold him off as Carter goes for another battle with Molina. Side-by-side racing we love to see here at the fairgrounds. And Carter looks like he'll be able to take that position back from Molina, which puts him right in the clutches of Lane Sanders and Stephen Hunter side-by-side behind him. They are hungry, and they will seize any opportunity to get by the 23. Coming to 3 laps to go in the heat. We've got Molina in the transfer spot, and Joshua Michaels is comfortably ahead of Henry Thomas, but this is the battle we're keeping on our eye on as we take a peek at the front of the field. Joshua Michaels has got it very well in hand. He's on his way to a heat win, and he will likely start 5th in the main event. But looking back at this battle, this is the important battle because this will determine who makes it in and who will have to go to the last chance qualifier. It appears to be a battle between Molina, Sanders, Hunter, and Onjak as we come to 2 laps to go. We've got an interesting battle on our hands, and Molina appears to have it very much under control as Sanders and Hunter go side by side behind him. That is not good for either of them. They need to be single file to try and track down Molina. However, they are very aggressive in trying to take the positions away, and it looks like, coming to the white flag, that Molina is going to have a really tough battle because Onjak is caught up, and now Sanders and Hunter are both here, and it looks like Hunter's going to go for it going into turn 1. He's got the inside line, he's got the advantage, but I don't think he's going to have enough to catch the 23 as they go down the backstretch for the final time. Joshua Michaels is going to have this race firmly in hand. But going into the final corner, they're side by side for 6, but it looks like Molina is going to be able to hold on for the heat win. Joshua Michaels takes the heat win, but it's Molina in the 23, Andres Molina in the 23, who will be celebrating as he has advanced to the main event, while Lane Sanders, Stephen Hunter, our points leader, and Peter Onjak will go to the last chance qualifier to try and make it their way through the field there. We're almost done with our heats. We've got 1 more to go, and we will bring it to you as soon as their cars are lined up on the track. And welcome to the final heat, heat number 6. We've got Arthur Xavier on the front row with Jeff Bolton, Michael Edwards, Richard Herman, Jordan Presto, Mattiello in the 14, Blair in the 69, and Jeffrey Finguy in the 92. These are the final cars to qualify in, and Xavier and Bolton will lead them to the green, and we will settle the final 5 locked-in spots here in heat number 6. We are green. And Xavier gets a good jump. Bolton hung on a little longer than I expected him to. But here comes the St. Petersburg winner, Richard Herman, underneath Bolton. And that is a battle for position that Herman will win as Jordan Presto now makes a move on the inside of Michael Edwards. That is for 4th position. With Blair is going to try and sneak her way in alongside Mattiello and Finguy. Finguy's actually dropped a little bit off the pace, but this is only the first lap. He'll be able to make his way back up as long as he picks up the pace a little bit. As Presto makes a move for 3rd ahead of Jeff Bolton, and Blair snuck her way into the final transfer spot, and she's going to battle with Jeff Bolton for 4th as we've got a battle for the lead on our hands between Xavier and Herman, but Xavier shuts the door on Herman and will be able to keep the lead here. But this is the battle to look at because Blair and Bolton are battling for 4th. Those 2 are in. Mattiello and Edwards, they are not. So they need a very good run here. Edwards is last in points, so he needs to transfer his way into a locked-in spot right here if he's going to have any hope of making it. As Bolton slips off the track a little bit, that's going to help them catch up. However, it's going to be quite a challenge to get out of that outside line with Mattiello right there on the bottom, as Bolton sends it in on Blair, and Mattiello does the same to the 21 of Edwards, but it appears Mattiello will clear Edwards to take 6th away, which is not locked in, but it does help him, as Edwards going to try and do the cross-under move on Mattiello. He's gotten to the bottom of the racetrack. And with Bolton and Blair side by side, this is going to open the door for a lot of cars to make gains here into the field, as Mattiello sends it in really deep on Bolton. He's made a little bit of contact with him, and Mattiello's going to make his way into the transfer spot now with Jeff Bolton on the outside, as they're still side by side going in. Will Mattiello make another deep send? You bet he will, going down into the corner with Bolton right behind him. This is the last chance for these guys to lock themselves in before the last chance qualifier, so they're going to give it all they've got to try and make it in. And that was a drag race coming to the line with Mattiello and Bolton. So Mattiello will make the pass on Bolton, which leaves him in a very dangerous position, because Bolton, Edwards, and Finn Guy now are on the outside looking in, and they will be looking for an opportunity to pass, as Xavier is just walking away with this race. He will likely start 6th in the main event, as he's built over a second lead on the field. We don't have to worry about Arthur Xavier right now. Right now, though, we have to worry about Michael Edwards, who's driving the race of his life right here, and he's going to try and get underneath Mattiello, and Edwards is going to try and take the final transfer spot, coming to 3 laps to go, and it appears Edwards will be able to take that spot away, going off of 4. As we look further up the field, Blair and Presto are side by side for 2nd, and it looks like Blair's going to take that spot away with a little bit of patience and a little bit of luck. She's going to make her way by Jordan Presto in the 66. Presto's missed the last 2 races, so as long as he can get a locked-in spot, he will be happy no matter where he qualifies into this main event. But right now, it appears that Edwards is going to try and get a locked-in spot, but Bolton's still right there, and a bobble by any one of these guys, they're going to go 3 wide here. This is going to be hairy going into the corner. Herman, Edwards, Presto, all 3 of them are in a precarious position. The only ones that look to be safe right now are Arthur Xavier in the 95 and the 69 of Blair. They appear to be safe. However, it looks like the rest of the field is going to be fighting for the final transfer spot. They're coming to the final lap of the heat, with Edwards now up to 3rd, and Herman, Presto back here 4th and 5th, with Mattiello, Bolton, and Finn guys caught right back up, but I believe it's too little too late for the driver of the 92, as Mattiello is going to probably have to give it one last big send into the corner to try and get by. I don't think it's going to hold out, unless he can get to Presto, but I don't think he can do it. Arthur Xavier is going to come off of 4, and he's going to win the heat. But coming off the final corner, he's going to be close, but no cigar from Mattiello. He's got to go to the last chance qualifier. Congrats to Jordan Presto. He makes his first race in a while. He will start 30th in the main event, and only 1 race is left, the last chance qualifier, and we will bring it to you as soon as all our cars are ready to battle it out for just 5 spots. This is it, the last chance qualifier. Justin Hutchinson and Ryan Caggiano on the front row. 18 cars fighting for just 12 spots. 5 of these cars will advance, and the others will have their fate set by points. Justin Hutchinson and Ryan Caggiano lead the field with the green flag. We are underway for this 20-lap last chance qualifier. And Justin Hutchinson gets a good dive into turn 1. He will be able to squeak out a lead, but Seth Taylor is on his bumper, and they will be wanting to squirt away from the rest of the field because they really do not want to have their fate settled by points, especially Seth Taylor, who's 30th in the standings. Lane Sanders also needs a good run here. He is deep in the point standings and needs a good finish here to solidify his spot in the main event. Caggiano, Jones, Lutchen, they're all right on points, but they'd rather race their way in on speed. Looking back for the rest of the field, this is the battle for the transfer spot right here between Jones and Lutchen. Jones is in, Lutchen is out right now. As the field roars down the back straightaway, we have Alexa Lutchen. Oh, she's stuck behind Caggiano, and that's going to allow Anzac to pull right up alongside her as Bobo Jones gets a run on Ryan Caggiano. That is a battle for 4th place, and it appears that Caggiano will be able to hold him off for now. But Lutchen is going to have a challenge on her hands to try and get back into contention for this top spot, as we have Anzac powering by Lutchen now. Stephen Hunter is going to make a move. The points leader in the Last Chance Qualifier, would you believe it? But Hunter's locked into the field because he's the points leader, so even if he falls back on points, he's guaranteed a spot. But of course, as everyone else is, he would rather race his way in instead of having to start on points. So Hunter powers by. Lutchen's going to try and get by Caggiano as well, but right now it appears that we've got a solid battle going here. We're about a quarter of the way through the Last Chance Qualifier here, as we've got a bit of contact between Martin and Onjack here. This is going to be an interesting battle, because all these Onjack is going to need to outpoint a bunch of people if he's going to have any chance at making the main event. As right now, Duke Anzac holds the final transfer spot, as Bobo Jones and Seth Taylor go side by side ahead of him. They're fairly safe, but Anzac holds that final transfer spot, and there's a lot of hungry cars right behind him who would kill for a spot in the main event. As Anzac powers out the corner with Stephen Hunter right on his heels, but Anzac's able to pull away just a little bit. And, ooh, we've got a little sideways action there between Lutchen and Hunter, but they appear to be having things under control right now. As right now, it appears that we have Anzac pulling away, actually, from this battle between Lutchen, Hunter, and Martin. So they will be fairly happy about that, but they want to be clear of each other if they're going to have a shot at battling with Duke Anzac, because he's already got about a half a second advantage on these guys, so he's going to have to power away from them while he can, as we've got a battle for the lead between Lane Sanders and Justin Hutchinson. Sanders has caught him, and with that cannon forward, he's able to power away from Justin Hutchinson, and Sanders is now your leader as we end lap number 7 of 20 here in the Last Chance Qualifier. But Hutchinson's not done yet. He's going to try and make a move on Sanders going into 1, the cross-under move. And hugging that inner guardrail is Justin Hutchinson. He's going to make a power move up off the corner, and he will be able to get past Lane Sanders going down the back straightaway. Looking back now at the test of the top 5, Seth Taylor, Bobo Jones, and Duke Anzac. They appear to be in the best position as far as transferring, because they've got a big lead over Alexa Lutchen, but Lutchen's starting to close in. I'm not sure if she'll get there or not, but one can only hope for all you Alexa Lutchen fans out there. She's going to give it everything she's got. She's in a good points position, but we all know she'd rather race her way in on speed. As we've got another side-by-side battle for the lead between Justin Hutchinson and Lane Sanders. These two would not get away from each other, as right now it appears that Hutchinson and Sanders are going to settle this race between them unless Taylor can catch up, which it appears he might, as the lead is now bunching up. But that is irrelevant because they are fairly safe to advance to the main event. However, it's the fate of Alexa Lutchen we want to know. She's in a good position on points, but she'd rather race her way in, and she's closing in on Anzac, whereas these cars are fairly safe. Martin, Caggiano, and Hunter, if they need to fall back on points, they can. However, guys like Peter Onjack, Jeff Bolton, Sam Donato, Ryan Soper especially, Mattiello in the 14, they are by no means safe. And unless they get a move on, they may find themselves out of the event here at the Illinois State Fairgrounds, as we've got battles all over this racetrack now for position, as the Lutchen has caught Anzac and Jones as they go side by side. So Duke Anzac may pass Bobo Jones, and that puts Jones on the hot seat instead of Anzac, as there's slight contact between them. I'm not sure it's going to impact any of their runs. However, at the rate things are going, I would not be surprised if we have an accident here, because these guys are going all in to try and take the win away here at the Springfield Mile, and Lutchen is giving it everything she has to try and get past Bobo Jones to try and lock herself into the main event. As we approach 7 laps of racing to go, 7 or 8 laps to go, and Lutchen has caught Bobo Jones, but catching Bobo Jones is one thing, passing him is a whole nother matter. As we've got action up front, Anzac's going to try and get by Taylor, and Hutchinson's going to try and make another move by Lane Sanders for the lead. These two have not gotten off each other since this race has gotten underway, and man, are they providing a show here for the fans in the stands. This is the battle we're keeping our eye on, though, as Bobo Jones is trying to fend off Alexa Lutchen. They're going to try and battle it out here, as Seth Taylor now gets by Lane Sanders for second. That's going to help Seth Taylor's efforts to make the main event, but Jones is going to do everything he can to try and fend off Alexa Lutchen, as she will do whatever it takes to catch Bobo Jones. Looking back now at the last place car, Nick Ortiz, he's in a fairly okay position on points, but I would not count on it. Christian and McDonald and Sober, they are not good on points at all. They have to get a move on in the final 5 laps, or they will not make the main event. Finn Guy's pretty safe. Mattiello is not safe, nor is Denoto. Martin's pretty safe. Bolton is not. Hunter and Caggiano, they're pretty safe. But now, here is the battle between Bobo Jones and Alexa Lutchen. And Seth Taylor's now gotten himself caught in this mix. This is going to be quite a battle here, as Justin Hutchinson's starting to sail away from his competitors. As Anzac's actually gotten by everybody but Justin Hutchinson to take second place. And Sanders is by no means safe. We thought he was safe early in the goings, but he's by no means safe, as Lutchen is right there. She can smell it, but Bobo Jones is going to do everything in his power to keep Alexa Lutchen far behind him here. Lutchen's going to need to make a big dive here if she's going to get by Bobo Jones and lock herself into the field on speed. And she's making good moves, but she's too far behind to do anything with them. As we come to 3 laps to go in the last chance qualifier, and Bobo Jones is hanging on for dear life. These are the biggest 3 laps of his career to try and make the main event on speed. As Seth Taylor, he's really trying to hang on. These are the biggest laps of Seth Taylor's career as well, because he is not in a good position on points. If Alexa Lutchen passes Taylor, then that would spell trouble for the driver of the 32, because he would have to fall back on points, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that right now, because he is 30th in the point standings right now. That is by no means safe, as we're at 2 laps to go. Seth Taylor is pulling away from Lutchen. I think she's going to be all right. I think Taylor's going to be all right, rather, in making it. And I think Lutchen's going to be all right, too. She's pretty solid on points. So we're coming to the white flag this time by. We've got Justin Hutchinson with Duke Anzac in hot pursuit. They're coming to the white flag. This is the final lap of the last chance qualifier. And Anzac's going to send it in way deeper than anyone's ever sent it in before. He wants this win, but Justin Hutchinson is going to power off the corner and hold him off. So for now, it's these 2 cars battling for the win in the last chance qualifier. They're both going to safely advance, and coming off the final corner, Justin Hutchinson is going to put that Texaco Haviland Ford into the main event. Justin Hutchinson wins the last chance qualifier, with Duke Anzac right behind him in second, Bobo Jones third, Seth Taylor fourth, and Lane Sanders just barely holds on to 5th place. Lane Sanders will make the main event. Alexa Letchen will likely have to point her way in. Stephen Hunter will point his way in. Ryan Caggiano will point his way in. While it appears the efforts of Mattiello, Bolton, Soper, Christian, McDonald, they will fall short in their efforts of making the field. This is all unofficial. We will have the full starting lineup for you scrolling across your screen as this race concludes, but it appears our starting lineup is set for the main event here at Springfield. And with that being said, I do hope you'll join us for that. I'll have Ryan Caggiano in the booth with me. It's gonna be an absolute blast, and I really hope you join us for the main event. Thanks so much for watching a fun day of racing here at Springfield. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we're gonna see you right here at this exact track for the main event coming up in just a short while here at the Toad Warrior 75 Racing Network.